Hey, how are you? You're here with the professor right now on my channel, Inside Real Estate, and today we're going to talk about how to invest. So, investing in a lot of ways is a math game, and so today we're going to focus today's lesson on what is a cash flow spreadsheet. So, if you haven't heard the term cash flow spreadsheet, it's pretty simple. It's a spreadsheet that's designed to identify properties and the amount of cash flow that they make. So I know a lot of people when they start thinking about investing, they just assume as long as they find a property that they like, that it will make money. That is not the case. So there is a lot of investment property that comes on, just like a lot of houses that come on in the single family market, that's overpriced. And if you purchase it at that price, you will lose money or you will not make the amount of money that you probably should. So, and it's easy to say, well, even if it's a bad investment today, 3 years from now it'll be a good deal, but there's no reason to dig yourself that hole. Okay? So the professor here says, let's be smart. So very simply, a cash flow spreadsheet is designed to tell you how much cash flow an investment property makes over a period of time. Okay? If you're thinking about buying an investment, it's essential that you have some sort of metric to some sort of spreadsheet to figure out how these properties actually perform. Okay? Cash flow isn't necessarily the answer. Definitely not an answer on a very simple spreadsheet. But it's the most important part of the process. If it doesn't make any money, you really should not be spending money to invest on that property. Save your money for something that does make money. The smart investors wait until the deal makes sense. Okay? So almost you talk to anybody, they'll tell you they've got a spreadsheet, okay, and you need one too. So if you Google and look around for cash flow spreadsheets, there's plenty of people out there pawning their spreadsheets. I have to tell you, most of them are way too complicated. Okay. First of all, if there's a lot of information that when you're trying to figure out what properties to go see, which ones might make sense, you're not going to have a lot of detailed information about that property. That's not what the world of investment property usually looks like. Okay, so if it's too big and it has too many fields, you're going to be spending your Saturday afternoons filling in the spreadsheet, trying to chase down those numbers. When in the meantime, a more sophisticated investor is going to be writing an offer on the property, and by the time you figure out it's a good deal, it's going to be gone. So that's not what you want. So you need something that you can basically get an answer in seconds, if possible. Okay. Most of the time, all you really need to do is get good numbers for rent, taxes, the price of the property, and what your mortgage payment is going to be, and that will get you a long way to figuring out if this is a possible winner or a total loser. Okay. So, and again, it's worth saying if you're really going to find a good deal, you have to look not just at 10 properties, but probably dozens. Okay, you have to analyze dozens of properties at sort of the thumbnail level in order to figure out which ones are the best ones. Okay, it's easy to make mistakes in these spreadsheets. You can make bad assumptions about rent, and a lot of times if the rent is stated, that rent is not accurate. So you need to make sure that you have good rental data. That's the easiest place to make mistakes. But you also need to understand that these properties require maintenance, and you need to make adjustments for that. Bottom line, if the spreadsheet's just too hard to fill out, it's not going to save you any time and you won't use it. These spreadsheets are designed to keep you from running out and looking at every property that comes on by figuring out whether or not the property is overpriced or underpriced right from the first time it comes online. So the benefits, of course, for a cash flow spreadsheet is it separates the winners from losers, as we talked about. It also, though, it tells you where these properties are selling. Okay, so one of the things that you'll notice a lot of times, or that I notice, is that if the property only generates a certain amount of cash, according to my spreadsheet, it won't sell. The price is too high. And so that property is a lot more likely to sit around and not go anywhere. Whereas if the cash flow is at a different level, and it depends on what kind of property it is in order to figure out these metrics, it'll almost certainly sell, in the first 10 days. So, and that's because there are plenty of investors that use cash flow spreadsheets, and basically they all tell you the same numbers. So they all kind of figure out where these properties should sell and whether or not they're a good deal. But I will tell you that even though a cash flow spreadsheet will keep you honest about understanding which ones are winners and losers, you have to remember that if you're doing this quickly and efficiently, which you should be, all right, certain properties are going to look great on paper, but then when you go see them, there are going to be a lot of other risk factors that show up, and you need to be aware of those, and you need to go back and recalculate your spreadsheet based on them. Okay? So again, cash flow spreadsheets are not the answer, but they do help you figure out which properties are likely to be the right ones. Okay, so in closing, I wanted to let you know that I have a spreadsheet. We're going to go over it right now. I'm going to jump into that and show people kind of how it looks so that you can see that how I've been using it over the many years that I've had it. And if you do have a property that you want me to put in my spreadsheet so that you can see whether or not it's a winner or a loser, give me a call. You can reach out to me right here at the bottom of this video, and like and subscribe it, of course, especially if you want to see more from the professor. See more videos from the professor, definitely like and subscribe. So I'm looking to see thumbs. Let's get those thumbs going. All right, on to the spreadsheet. Okay, so this is a sneak peek of my spreadsheet. You can see that it's not, it looks complicated until you sort of take a look at it, but honestly, the number of fields that you need to mess with is very small, and it will drive answers. So I'll just go and look at this first one. So this is, again, you know, this is one that I use. So recently I looked at this property on 60 Houghton, and the price was $950, and you might be thinking, oh my God, that's a really expensive property. But it had 4,000 plus square feet, and it had 7,700 in estimated rent. And so even at a 7% interest rate for the mortgage, which was very expensive, and $10,000 in taxes, it was still making $12,000 a year. Okay, which is pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good for a 3-family. Okay, so, a 5-family. That was a 5-family. So I'd like to see it be a little bit more than that. I think 900 is probably a better price for that property. But right away, you can see that it makes money. And you can see, you know, down here, this one was in Westboro. It was at 600. You know, ultimately, I figured out the rent was probably around 3,200. With the taxes in there, it lost $10,000 a year. I mean, that property's got to come down so much in price that it's never going to make any money. So, you know, for an investment, it just doesn't make sense. And like this one was a 2-family here. You can, you know, for a lot of 2-families are cash flow negative. Not usually $10,000 a year, but they're usually cash flow negative. So if these 2 properties had come on and I put them both in the spreadsheet, which one am I going to see first? I'm going to go see Houghton. And that's really what this is about, is that as you start to fill out the spreadsheet, you figure out which ones make the most cash and where you need to go spend your time. So, you know, there's lots of other properties. Depending on where you look, you know, you can still find properties between 300,000 and 500,000 in the western part of Massachusetts. But most income property is priced between 450 and 750 right now. And, you know, it should be generating cash. Like I said, if you're going to do the work of being a landlord, you should be paid for it, and you should be paid for it in cash. Appreciation is not really the best reason to go into investing in real estate. It really should be cash flow. The appreciation is a nice kicker down the line. And we'll talk about appreciation and depreciation probably in another video. But that's the cash flow spreadsheet. If you want to see your property up here, make sure you reach out to me. Thanks.